Manorville, a quiet stretch of land mostly nestled within the town of Brookhaven, its northeastern edge brushing against Riverhead. Some call it the gateway to the Hamptons, but long before the highways and summer traffic, before the world hurried past, it was just a farming town. It began in 1693 with a land grant, Manor St. George, a vast estate awarded to Colonel William Tangier Smith for his service as governor of Tangier, Morocco. Centuries later, in 1844, the Long Island Railroad carved its way through, erecting a station named St. George's Manor. But not for long. Seth Rayner, the station agent, a patriot through and through, found the name too British, too steeped in a past he wished to forget. One day, with a steady hand and a stroke of paint, he altered history. What remained was a single word: manor. By 1907, the post office made it official: Manorville. Yet, even in a town that moved forward, some places refused to let go of the past. For decades, Manorville thrived as a farming community, its fertile soil yielding crops that sustained generations. Among its most prized harvests, cranberries. In the late 19th century, farmers discovered that the town's low-lying sandy bogs were perfect for cultivating the tart, ruby-red fruit. By the early 1900s, cranberry farming had become a booming industry, drawing workers and settlers eager to share in its success. Manorville's cranberries were shipped across the state, a staple of Thanksgiving tables and general stores alike. But prosperity is never guaranteed. As the decades passed, competition grew. Large-scale cranberry farms in Massachusetts and New Jersey, coupled with shifting agricultural practices and creeping development, sealed the industry's fate. By the mid-20th century, most of Manorville's bogs had dried up, abandoned to time, their once thriving fields reclaimed by nature. Today, only remnants remain, forgotten by many, remembered by few. The West Manor Schoolhouse, built in 1929, the same year the world unknowingly teetered on the edge of economic ruin. Within months, the Great Depression would tighten its grip on the nation. But for a brief moment, Manorville still believed in growth, in progress. The schoolhouse stood as a promise, a place where children gathered, learned, and built their futures. Its design, like many early 20th century educational buildings, was rooted in the Bauhaus philosophy: clean, unembellished, modern. Function over excess, a simple two-room layout, one large classroom for lessons, a smaller auxiliary room for focused study, tutoring, or specialized activities. High ceilings to improve acoustics, expansive windows to flood the space with natural light, a hallmark of Bauhaus architecture's emphasis on openness and clarity. It reflected the changing ideals of the time. Gone were the ornate flourishes of the past. Instead, the schoolhouse prioritized simplicity and efficiency, straight lines, geometric forms, and an intentional flow of space. Even the entrance vestibule served a purpose, controlling student movement, reducing noise, maintaining order. Modernism in its purest form, education distilled to its essentials. For over a decade, it stood as a pillar of learning, but time has a way of changing everything. By 1942, Manorville's small school districts merged. The building fell silent. Years passed. The laughter of children faded. Dust gathered where books once sat. Some say the past never truly leaves, that if you listen closely, you can still hear the distant scratch of chalk against slate, the echo of a teacher's voice calling a name long forgotten. Others dismiss it as just another relic of a town that moved on. But history doesn't disappear. It lingers, waiting to be remembered.
Step into the past and experience history like never before at West Manor Schoolhouse Museum. This hidden gem transports you straight back to a time when one-room schoolhouses were the heart of education. Imagine sitting at an antique wooden desk, hearing the echoes of lessons from over a century ago, and uncovering the stories of students who once filled these very walls. But it's more than just a museum. It's a time capsule of Long Island's rich heritage. Whether you're a history buff, a curious explorer, or just looking for a unique way to spend the day, West Manor Schoolhouse is a fascinating, hands-on journey through time. The passionate volunteers bring history to life, and the exhibits make you feel like you've stepped right into the past. Plus, it's the perfect place to introduce kids and adults to a world before smartphones and laptops. Visit, learn, and be part of preserving history. The Manorville Historical Society's West Manor Schoolhouse Museum is open every Wednesday from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on the first Saturday of each month during the same hours. To become a member, you can visit their official website and follow the provided link to join.